What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? So, pretty much, I'll make this quick. I have to put some things in order. But, you know, most of what I'm saying, I don't have to say. I'm gonna let y'all see for yourself. For those who have an ear, as Christ say, let them hear. I'm gonna start off with a couple of clips. I'm gonna explain, to you what it is. I'm gonna show you some documents, more clips, and then I'm gonna give you my summary. So check it out. Check this out.
It's a little awkward. Ted, in the eyes of the state, you are not a person.
Wait, what?
The state official I spoke to said that technically you are classified as property.
I'm not a person?
Not according to the government. I'm sorry.
But that is so fucked up.
Property?
You know what, Teddy? Let's get out of here. Come on.
Look, you seem like good people. Be careful.
What do you mean, be careful?
The state official I spoke to made it sound like your status had gone under the radar for some time. Your adoption request may have raised some red flags. If they choose to investigate the issue, it may leave you quite vulnerable.
Do come in.
Mr. Megan, this is such an honor. Thank you so much for meeting with us.
Not at all. It's my pleasure. Please sit down.
This office is fucking awesome.
Yeah, totally. Hey, you ever bring chicks up here?
What do you think?
I think I want to sleep on a bed made of your voice.
I'll get right down to it. I don't want to waste too much of your time. Ted, I've been reviewing your file. And while I'm sympathetic to your cause, I'm sorry to say I won't be taking your case.
What?
Why?
What?
Well, it comes down to this. You want to be human in the eyes of the law. That's a hard sell, even for me. See, the important thing about being human is making a contribution to society, assisting in the betterment of your race. You've done none of that. I've read about your life. The drugs, the parties, the prostitutes, the arrests.
Mr. Megan, we've come a long way to meet you because you said that you could help us.
I said I would consider it. And I have. Ted, you're special. You could have been an inspiration to the world. Could have been a leader, a role model. Instead, you're Justin Bieber.
Fuck you!
Hey, Ted, come
Sorry,
on.
I'm sorry,
he
kid.
doesn't
Sorry,
mean
please
that.
forgive me. I'm sorry.
That is why we've been working so hard. That's Shep Wild. It's our bad luck they put him on the trial. He's never lost a case in his life.
Mr. Wild, your opening statement, if you please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would first like to thank the ladies and gentlemen of the jury for taking time out of their busy schedules to be a part of these proceedings. Now, the case we'll be examining today is really quite a simple one. Is Ted a human being or a piece of property? You know, it really is a very special, very unique thing to be human. It's a gift from God bestowed upon only one species, us. But if we suddenly decide to share that gift, where does that lead us? Does your dog deserve human rights? Your cat? Your toaster? Suddenly being human doesn't seem so special anymore, does it? I'm confident you'll make the right decision.
Thank you, Mr. Wild, for your opening statement.
So there we just witnessed that although Ted talk, walk, smoke weed, react, the government classified him as not being a human being. Now, if you've seen Ted, which came out The first one came out in 2012. Part 2 came out in 2015. That's, that's before the shot. The C-19. And what you have here, if you're not considered a human being, then what are you? So if something happened to you, because there was a scene in the movie to where the guy Donnie, the creep guy, where he had ended up taking Ted and he was going to tear him open. And I think the guy, I think this on part 2, is another guy on there was actually like, you're going to kill him. He's like, no, he's property, a product, property. So, if you're not considered human in the eyes of the government, then it's fair game. Like, whatever happened to you, there could be no law. I mean, yeah, civil. If you hit my car, property damage. It's not like you're going to jail for murder. Yeah, you do something, property damage. Your dog bit me, or you hit my car, or you broke my computer. Yeah, that's a civil case. But that's monetary. I'm going somewhere with this. Check this out.
Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Well, common sense would tell you if you have a man standing in front of you saying he's going to reduce the world's population by 10 or 15% using vaccines, what does that mean to you? It means somebody's going to die because you put a vaccine in them. It doesn't mean you're going to save people. That's pretty much common sense in my brain. But yet I saw him say it. He said it. And here we are. I don't know. Here we are. I'm now an anti-vaxxer. I wasn't before. From what I've learned here with this and seeing what I've seen, not just in the funeral home, but what everybody else has had an opportunity to see, I don't want to take any vaccine because I don't trust the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, I just buried someone recently who died suddenly. Wasn't sick, person in their 60s, but otherwise was not sick. And I met with the family, and that was my first question, was what happened to him? Somebody mentioned to go onto Google and then type in "died suddenly" and find the news articles that would pop up. And lo and behold, here's a whole listing of people, of articles, of people within that last week who died suddenly. Younger people, older people, but a lot of younger people around the world. Famous people, athletes have just dropped dead without explanation. And it's like it's no big deal. It's like we just don't know. It happens. But no, it's not happened. It's never happened like this until now. I'm hoping that we can get one of those important calls. See, this is both from the carotid and veins. Oh, look how thick that thing is. It's like the alien. Very similar. It came out, apparently I've got some of that's from a carotid artery and also some veins. So, whoa. Back around November of last year, of 2021, people were asking me, well, how many people are having these strange clots? And I didn't have a very good answer for it. So starting in November, I started making notations of whether or not the person was clotted or not, or vaccinated. My green is people that have been verified are vaccinated. Yellow typically is somebody that has smaller clots, and the orange is somebody that had more significant clots, the clots that are really kind of concerning to me. I have it dated for the quarter, numbered by the quarter, so the entire quarter I had about 130. Yeah, only almost 14% had no significant clotting. A lot of the substances that I'm seeing are stuff that looks pretty much, it's this white fibrous stuff. Now, instead of calling them blood clots, I try to refer to them as white fibrous clots or white fibrous structures. How come all of a sudden these things are happening in so many people? When I first started seeing these strange clots, in the beginning I thought, this is kind of weird, this is kind of crazy, I don't understand. As I started gathering more and more photographs, I'm able to share it amongst other people that I work with. I talk to other embalmers that have 30, 40, even 50 years of experience.
I'm a licensed funeral director, National Board funeral director, and certified embalmer. I've been in the death care industry since 1982. I've been embalming, been in the embalming process with well over 1,000 bodies. And I had actually noticed some of the differentiations in the clots as well, in some of the bodies I had been embalming, and that had started recently.
First time I saw it firsthand, pulled out of a deceased, my end, was about 3 months ago. Been struggling to embalm people for around about 18 months. My embalmer was complaining that he was having trouble getting fluid through people. And the way they do that is they cut into the carotid artery and they pump it around the body via a pump. He was struggling to get it through, and we kind of thought, well, maybe the pump wanted servicing, and had a look at it, it doesn't. Pulled this out, and he kind of grabbed the end with the tweezers, and this comes out in one piece, one elastic piece. It looks like calamari.
Longest one that I have on video is probably almost 3 foot long, which is incredible to come out of the jugular up here. It's incredible.
That is not normal.
I talked to other embalmers that have 30, 40, even 50 years of experience. Said, hey, have you guys ever seen this stuff before? And the answer was always,
I haven't seen clots like these long, white, fibrous, different, not blood clots, but they're clotting the blood, so therefore you have to call it a clot.
I have been in this profession actually for approximately 12 years and approximately 200 to 250 bodies per year, and I have never seen anything like this until the vaccination.
Now, I've been an embalmer for 41 years. 41 years I've been embalming, and I've never seen clots like these.
Here's a guy who messaged me the other day. He even sent me a picture.
And that fellow embalmer?
This is not mine, this is his. Same stuff. You see that?
We know something's going on. I deal with a lot of funeral directors and embalmers. I attend national conventions, state conventions. I'm very involved. And, we know something different is going on. We don't know exactly what's going on, but the timing of it is just hand in hand. We're connecting dots here. And it certainly appears that there's some relationship to the vaccine and these obstructions that we're seeing.
I was in Ohio last week or the week before last, and there were 100 embalmers at the Ohio Embalmers Association in my lecture, and I posed these photos up where people could see them, and nearly all of the embalmers out of 100 in this room raised their hands that they had seen clots and white fibrin structures of that kind of size. And when I ask again, when did they start seeing them? Again, it's that 16 to 18 month period.
This is different. And they need to figure out what it is. That's the problem, is they need to figure out. That's why we're talking to you, is that we're concerned for humanity.
Once I knew what was happening, I'm a man of principle. Your family's just as important as mine. If I don't speak out, we're all anyway.
As a Canadian embalmer, I have found that every body I embalmed for over a year had fibrous mass clots. The fiber mass clots had been fed by blood clots at the ends that were integrated into the fiber mass clots. The fiber mass clots themselves were not blood clots. On average, I would embalm a body every day or two. Every single body had them, and they were massive.
When I was talking to Dr. Ken Thorpe, he was more concerned about the real tiny clots that he called microclots. And when I asked him about microclots, I was like, let me explain. Sometimes when I'm seeing the blood, it looks like the blood is dirty. Almost like it has little fine grains of sand, or almost like fine grains of coffee grounds. The reason why he's more concerned about those is because they will go undetected and they can get lodged up in capillaries and end up slowly starving organs of the oxygen that it needs. So what I did is I captured some blood that looked dirty. It's clouding it up, but see, I wanted you to see the specks that are floating around. Here we go.
It looks like rust.
It does. Look at, like, see, you can almost see that they're like stringy looking.
The first time I seen something that what I would describe as a different type of blood than I had ever seen, consistency of blood, was on a younger lady that was in a car accident. And I noticed onto the table as we were getting a little bit of drainage from her that her blood looked as if it was, the only way to describe it is blood on beach sand. It was sticking to the table.
I began noticing strange things with the blood, looking like it had coffee grinds or sand in it, to complete separation, like a clear orangish fluid, and then clots coming later, like the blood had almost separated. And of course, then there are the fibrin structures that we get, and it doesn't matter if it's a young or old person.
I'd like you to kind of feel
Yeah.
You can kind of hold on
It's like
to
a
it.
rubber band almost.
Yeah, like a rubber band or like calamari.
So of course that explains people stroking out. Like,
And that was my concern in the very beginning of all this. The whole thing was, as I'm seeing all of these strange clots, I'm hearing stories of blood clots and embolisms and sudden heart attacks.
Scientists say there has been an increased rise, a sharp rise, in unexplained deaths during the pandemic, deaths that are not listed as COVID-related.
I would just like to find answers, because so many people, young people, are just dropping dead. There were 2 in the local paper today out of Lafayette, Indiana, and I question, how did they die?
Autopsies are not being done and performed as often and as frequent as it had been done in the past. You know, there's no way that that type of obstruction would not cause stroke, heart failure, some type of pulmonary embolism that would certainly take someone out.
Now, most of the people are not autopsied. Therefore, no one will see what I see.
And that's why what we see back there, people need to know. Nobody will know unless we tell them what we're seeing, because it happens
and then you have a visitation and a burial, and it's over.
I feel as though I am seeing something that could be causing their death. And the dead can't speak for themselves, so therefore, the only way to bring this forward is like, I have to speak for them. Since the vaccine, this rubbery stuff, this stuff here is absolutely, no, hold on, I don't know who this is. Hello? Yes. Okay. I'll be there as soon as I can. I'll be there as soon as I can. I'll give you a call shortly. All right. Bye. Okay. Well, it looks like I got to go to work. So maybe you guys can come with me and we can talk along the way.
That they would let us shoot.
I've been trying to warm people up to the idea of doing it. So maybe we just go ahead and try to go up there, and I'll give them a call as we're on our way and see what they say.
Yeah, this gentleman is Dr. Ido Bachelet. Now, look at the year. This is in 2013. He did this TED Med talk in Israel. And what he is holding up is the 1 cc syringe that he just brought from his lab. And he tells everyone in the audience, he says, I just brought this syringe from my lab. And in the syringe is 1,000 billion robots. Okay, so what is he talking about? So he's talking about these nano robots that are 1/2000th times the width of a human hair. These cannot be seen with the human eye. But what is unique about these nano robots is that they can be programmed, they self-assemble, they self-replicate, they cross the blood-brain barrier, and they will do whatever they are programmed to do. They even open up, and they're all controlled with RF emissions. And this is by the admittance of Dr. Ido Bachelet. What is even crazier is that he teaches his students how to control these once they're in a host with an Xbox controller.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, I'm not kidding you. Okay, you can find his talk, TED Talk. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, but you type in Dr. Ido Bachelet, TED Med Talk, Israel, nanorobots, you'll find that. And it's very interesting. Now, I want everyone to understand this. Technology in and of itself is not good or bad. It's who is in control of the technology that makes it, the results, good or bad.
Well, that's the video that I done that's going crazy right now on my TikTok right now. Because now I think I got people attention. You know, and right now,
This gentleman is Dr. Ido Bachelet.
right now is at what that say? Fuck is this? Look at this. How many views? I'm at 20. I put this up yesterday. Why in the fuck I can't? Oh, privacy setting. Okay. 19,900 views. I did this yesterday. People steady coming through because now, and this the same video I just showed y'all.
Self-replicate, they cross the blood-brain barrier, and they will do whatever they are programmed to do. They even open up, and they're all controlled with RF emissions. And this is
So I put this up yesterday.
what is even
I put this up yesterday. And when I tell you that people is going crazy over it, because I'm thinking that I got people attention now. And that's really all I was trying to do. It get deeper though. It get deeper. So I'm tying all this up. Bear with me. Let's get into some documents here. Master compilation expanded allegation regarding the COVID-19 vaccine and human status. Okay, regards to what they talking about. Number one, humanity alteration, DNA changes claims. Now, when they say claims from physicians, doctors, people that's in that field of work. So they say claims. Vaccination alter human genetics. Humanity become biologically modified. Human identity permanently change. Right? Okay. Let's try it again. Sorry. I'm going to do it like this for personal reasons. Let me do this again. Sorry. Humanity. Alteration, DNA changes claim. Vaccine, alter human genetics. Humanity becomes biologically modified. Human identity permanently change. Genetically modified transhuman claim. Vaccinated label genetically modified humans. Frame as engineer biological upgrades. So you'll upgrade human. Genetic ownership patent claims. In other words, patent. What that mean when you patent something? That means you're the owner of that. Like, hey, I just made a basketball, that shoot water. Okay, I patent that. That's me. You're being patent. Vaccinated bodies patentable. Humans become biotech properties. Loss of legal personhood claims. Constitutional protection voided. Constitutional protection voided. You have no more rights. You're not a human being. Human classified as products. Where did we see that at? That's why I showed you the movie Ted. Now you see why I showed you that. Because he's not considered a human being. He considered property. Here is telling you human classified as products. So you're no longer human. That's why you had no constitution rights. Mark of the beast theory claim. Vaccine as apocalypse mark. Alters God created humanity. Transhuman AI integration claims. Nanotechnology integration. Human AI connectivity. Lifelong experiment subject claim. Use a test dummy. Permanent research status. So they doing research on you. You know what I mean? They're using you to do research. Monitoring frame as experimentation. Using it, you experiment. That's what you are. You're an experiment. Synthetic. Anything synthetic, and you females should know because you wear synthetic hair. Synthetic hybrid human claim. Hybrid. What is a hybrid? Hybrid is something mixed, mutant. Humans become synthetic beings. Species classified altered. Species classification altered. So in other words, you're not like me. Fertility and human lineage claims. Vaccination altered reproduction DNA. Future generation non-human. When you had children, you both vaccinated, your child will come out non-human. So if you and your baby daddy or husband took the vaccine, you had a baby, that baby is not human. So consciousness alteration claims. Vaccine affects the soul. Spiritual disconnect narrative. Okay, graphene conductivity human claims. Bodies become conductive network. Human merge with technology grid. 5G, 6G. Frequency signal controls claim. Vaccinated body transmit signal. Mind behavioral influence theories. They control your mind. I'm gonna show you something. Immortality biological experiment claim. Vaccine frame as life extension trials. Humanity entering biotech evolution. Blood contamination claim. That's why you can't go to the blood bank and get blood. Vaccinated blood label altered. Transfusion recipient allegedly affected. Legal. Okay, well I'm thinking this for the glove now. Legal regulatory misinterpretation origin. EUA authorization language misread. Gene therapy classification confusion. So your body's made up a lot of DNA. A plus B equals C. D plus E equals F. When you put the vaccine in you, A plus B equals F. C and D equals A. You know, everything is confused now. You know what I mean? It's no longer going according to what God, made your body to be like. Like if you ever seen the human figure, when you go to the doctor and you see all these lungs, veins, your heart, arteries, that stuff, like you get a wire and you just start, Rubik's Cube. You know how you ever play with the Rubik's Cube? The Rubik's Cube that's altered. No federal law, regulatory policy, or public health authorization states that the vaccinated individual lose human personhood or legal status. You say that. Guess what I got, y'all? Been had it. Because now, when you get down to where I say mind or behavior influence theory, transmit signals. Remember, the guy said it can be controlled with an S-box. Controller. S-box controller.
They even open up, and they're all controlled with RF emissions. And this is by the inventors of Dr. Rito Bachelet. What is even crazier is that he teaches his students how to control these once they're in a host with an Xbox controller. Are you kidding me? Okay. I'm not kidding you. Okay. You can find.
So if you think you finna date me, you're gonna be out here cheating, guess what? All right, let's get serious. So yeah, that's why, again, with Ted, you're no longer human. Now, okay, so let's do some other thing. Comprehensive compilation allegations and claims regarding COVID-19 vaccine and human status, right? Okay, humanity altercation, we read that genetic change claim. Associated speaker, Carrie Maja, Sherry Tenpenny, claim things. mRNA alter human, I think that's Paterna, I believe, human DNA. Vaccine change what it means to be human. Humanity become genetically modified or transhuman claims. Associated commentators, Mike Adams, claim things. Vaccinated individuals described as genetically modified humans, framed as transhuman biologically engineering. Genetic ownership patent claims. Again, you can be patent. Associated figures, David Martin, right? Karen Kingston, claim theory. Vaccinated blood bodies could be patent Humans become biotech properties, genetic code subject to corporate ownership. So you belong to the government or whatever institution that vaccinated you, because now they changed you from what God made you and turned you into what they want you to be. So if I make a baby doll or a toy robot, that's my patent. I own that. You know, they own you. Loss of legal personhood rights claim. Claim thing. Genetically alteration voids constitution protection. Voids constitution protection. So you could be hunted down like a dog. Vaccinated individual become legal products. Human rights status allegedly changed. Now, let's go here. Beast apocalypse theory claim. Associated broadcaster Stu Peters, various property ministries. Claim things. Vaccine as biblical mark of the beast. Alter God created DNA. Remove spiritual humanity. Well, the vaccine is not the mark of the beast. What it does, it prep you for the mark of the beast. Because when they say that you'll be connected to like Wi-Fi and you'll be like the internet router, remember, the chip need some type of electric host in order to communicate. They can't just put a chip in you, you know what I'm saying? That's why, remember, that stuff starts sticking like tar. So when they stick it in you, it'll get stuck to that. You see how it was sticking to the blood? You know what I'm saying? How it was just, when you put the chip in there, now the chip can stay still and they communicate through the towers. Y'all ain't ready for this, man. Let me keep talking. Y'all don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. That's on you. I'll show you what's going to happen to you. Vaccine as biblical marker. Okay, remove spiritual. Transhuman AI integration claims. Okay, claim things. Nanotechnology integration. Human connectivity to AI system. Connection. Human connections to AI system. AI is what? Is electronics. Biological, digital hybridization. A hybrid, a mutant. Wolverine, Assman, Magneto, Cyclops, you're a mutant. Lifelong experimental subject claim. Lifelong. I mean, for the rest of your life, you'll be a test dummy. So just, pray to God, let them know that you didn't know what you was doing, and hope you get it right in the next life. Recipient remains permanent test subjects. Recipient remain permanent test subject. Ongoing monitor equal experimentation. They say ongoing monitoring equals experimentation. That means they're going to monitor you for the rest of your life. They know who you are because when you took the jab, you remember that number they wrote down, J900572? When they type that in, that goes to you. And they can turn you on and off when they want to. You get deep. Hold on. You be like, what you mean you can turn me on and off? Yeah, the dude said when you put them 1,000 million, when you hit you with that syringe and them robots get inside you, they turn on and off. So when they turn them on, they get the Xbox controller, like you do a video game, and they control you to do what you want. You walking like Frankenstein. He alive. He alive. You under the Frankenstein act. That's what the Frankenstein was. Come on, man. Although he was walking, and you see how he was, but he's not considered human. That's what you are, Frankenstein. You laughing, but I mean, hey, it is. Let's call it strike a ball to ball. You're Frankenstein. Ongoing monitor equal experimentation. Emergency authorization misinterpreted as perpetual trials. Synthetic hybrid human classification claims. Claim things. Vaccinated humans become synthetic beings. Spike protein alters species classification. Blood considered biologically modified. Go try to get some blood to a blood bank. Watch what they tell you. It's going to get serious then. Because you can always donate blood. Try to get yours up. Media and documentary application source. Platforms and production. Pandemic documentary series. Rumble broadcast. That's what I just showed you. What I just showed you. That's come from off Rumble. It's called Dash Suddenly. Or Suddenly Dash. Someone Dash Suddenly. BitChute uploads Telegram documentary channel. Legal and regulatory misinterpretation origin. Documents, comments cited. FDA emergency use authorization fact sheets. Gene therapy research paper. Biotechnology patent. No federal law, EUA document, or public health regulation states that vaccination individual lose permanent and legal status. Let me tell you something. How long do you think it takes for a person to become a doctor or a lawyer? It's not the police academy to where you can go and you be in there in a year or two. No. You got to study medicine. You need a doctorate degree. You need a associate degree. Hold on. Okay. Because I actually dated this young girl. She's 23. She become a doctor. So I'm going to read this here. Become a doctor takes about 11 to 15 years total after high school, depending on specialty. Here's the typical timeline in the U.S. You need a bachelor's degree, 4 years, right? Pre-med or any major. Biology, chemical, must complete medical school prerequisites. Take the MCAT exam. Medical school, 4 years. All right. So bachelor's degree, 4 years. Medical school, 4 years. MD, doctor of medicine. DO, doctor or osteopathic medicine. Breakdown. Okay. Years, 1 or 2 classroom plus lab. Years, 3 and 4 clinical rotation hospital training. Residency, 3 to 7 years. Hands-on specialty training. Example, family medicine, 3 years. Internal medicine, 3 years. Pediatric, 3 years. I guess the pediatric for the children. Emergency medicine, 3 to 4 years. Surgery, 5 to 7 years. Neurosurgery, up to 7 years. Okay, optional. Fellowship, 1 to 3 years. Extra specialty training. Example, cardiology. Oncology, I don't even know how to spell it. Oncology. Plastic surgery. Gastro, what's this say? Gastroenterology, whatever this shit say. I don't know. I guess right here. Gastroenterology or whatever. No, I ain't finished high school. I can't. I can say but I can't say all these big ass words. I ain't programmed for that. Total time example, family doctor, 11 years. Surgeon, 13 to 15 years. Non-surgery, 15 to 17 years. Why do I say that? You think these people that's called so-called whistleblowing that's telling us that this stuff is not safe, you think they're going to put that on the line for what? For you? Think about it. They told you that, hey, if you just didn't take the regular job, you couldn't work. And you took it because you've been on the job for 9 years and you trying to, you need 11 more years for your pension. You took it. They already there. They already there. You think they're going to put their job on the line for you? You can't even get $5 out of them. You see them at the gas station. You got any change? I don't have anything, only credit cards. You think they'll put their job on the line for you? They did all that, went through all that to tell you a lie. So when the government say claims, you think about it. That's what they call the 6th sense. They're not going to do that for you. They got a whole family that had a career that they built their whole life. You think they're going to do all this and lie for what? All these people. That's why I get to reading, the names, all these people. So all these, the Mike Adams and, the David Martin, the Karen Kingstons, the Kerry Medja, the Sherry Tempe. All these people going to put their career on the line to lie to you. Come on, man. If you believe that, hey, I can go sell you China for $40. All right, let's go here. Trying to keep this under an hour. Why you can't sue doctors or facilities for vaccine injuries? Okay. You usually can't sue a doctor or vaccine manufacturer for vaccine injuries in the U.S. because a federal law that gives them liability protection, but there are limited exceptions and alternative compensation system. The main reason federal liability protection. Why is you getting protection? If it's safe, then you know you should. If something go wrong, you should be able to sue for malpractice. But let's get into it. Key laws, right? In the United States, most vaccine, COVID-19 childhood vaccine, are covered under law that protects manufacturer and provider from lawsuits. Key laws: National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, NCVIA, create a special system instead of a normal lawsuit for many vaccines. So this outside your normal doctor, do something and you get a lawsuit. This outside that. Public Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Act, PrEP Act, okay, gives broad immunity during public health emergency like COVID-19. But that's the only one, right, that we know. So now you get immunity. These laws were passed because vaccine companies are being sued so much in the 1970s and 80s. If they're being sued that much, that means something's wrong. Stop making it. That some threatened to stop making vaccines. The government stepped in to keep vaccine supply stable. What did the person say? Hey, keep making it so you can keep killing the people. You heard that with your own mouth. I'm just repeating what they said. The alternative, you can't file for compensation. Right. The alternative, you can't file for compensation. Instead of suing in civil court, you can file a claim roughly in federal programs. Like what? Like Red Cross, I'm assuming, national disaster, the PPP loan, the SBA loans, I guess emergency claims. For routine vaccines, National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, VICP, covers many standard vaccine, MMR, DTaP, flu, whatever, regular stuff that we never had a problem with, funded by a small tax on each vaccine dose, right? So they get money off this. Funded by a small tax on vaccine each dose. Cases are heard in a special vaccine court. So not a regular court, but it will put you in this room, and if it get ugly, you might not make it out. Under that act. For COVID-19 and emergency vaccine countermeasure injury compensation programs, CICP covers COVID-19 vaccines and other emergency and countermeasures. Harder to qualify and has stricter deadline benefit limited than VICP because VICP is regular. So this one it's harder to qualify and stricter deadlines. You know what I mean? When you can sue, liability protection is not absolute. Lawsuit may be allowed if willful misconduct. A company knowingly hid safe data. Very hard to prove because you got to prove that they knew they was hiding safe data. Hard to prove. Medical malpractice, which if anybody medically do anything to you and something happen, it should be a lawsuit. This shouldn't be example, wrong vaccine given, incorrect dose, unsafe administration, and sanitary ingestion causing infection. Okay, give you a dirty rinse. I was just going to say something. Manufacturing defect, a contaminated or improperly made batch, rare, difficult case. Again, contaminated or improperly made batch, rare or difficult case. Listen to me. You got, I don't know. Let's add something. Let me show you something. And this is just common sense. I'm going to ask a simple question. Okay. I asked, how many people are on planet Earth? How many people are on planet Earth? 8 billion. We know 1,000 million is 1 billion. So you got 8 billion people, 8.1 billion people on Earth. And out of all 8 billion people, only 3 vaccines is going to cure everybody. Come on, man. You need at least maybe 5 million different doses because everybody DNA is different. You can't give me and him the same thing. Everybody is different. You know, if we're all made the same, then we're all Android robots. But you will be, because once you all take this, now your DNA is the same and you're controlled through a Wi-Fi. Make it make sense. 3 vaccines can't cure 8 billion people. How? 3? Well, this don't work. Do this. This don't work. Like, come on, man. All right, whatever. Let's keep going, man. Outside Prep Act cover if the situation doesn't fall under emergency protection and malpractice cases, you're suing the provider for negligence, not the vaccine itself. Why the government set it up this way? Policy reason, ensure stable vaccine supply, protect companies from bankruptcy. They bankruptcy, they can't make nothing for the government. The government need a bioweapon made. They got their people that they're protecting. They're going to make it. Spray some stuff in the air, whatever. Encourage rapid vaccine development, especially in pandemics. Provide faster compensation than civil court in theory. Encourage rapid vaccine development, especially in pandemics, like the pandemic we had. How long do it take to make the vaccine? I was told 4 years. Google it. 4 years. 4 to 7 years. You made this in a couple of months. Even let's say 2 years. You made this in a couple of months. Why? It have to be proven, it have to be tested. That's why they tested on pigs, rats, whatever, hamsters, to see how it react. You're testing this on people. So this stuff was now, don't get me wrong, I believe you already knew you already did your test before you put it on a human. You knew what it was and how to get around it, you know what I mean? But I mean, that's another story. You know, these tests is being lab, as I got video, the guy said as early as 2013. That's 6-7 years prior to know what it'll do. So they already knew what it was, you didn't. So when they told you they're going to bring it out in a couple of months, first they hit the pandemic, then brought it out. This is already pre-planned. You know, but I don't know. I'm a block dude. I don't know what I'm talking about. Important practical limits. You must file within specific time windows, often 1 to 3 years from injury itself. You need medical proof linking the injury to the vaccine. Some programs cap damage or don't pay for pain and suffering. Right. Again, you need medical proof linking the injury to the vaccine. How can you prove that the vaccine did it? Because once you take the shot, usually after that, they said take about 4, I'm going to show y'all something, 4 or 5 years in order for it to start taking effect. You know, you're not going to fall out right away. So after 3, 4, 5 years, then something happens like, well, you can't say it came from that. It could have been something else. It's been 5 years. Come on, man. These people, hey, the government code summary, you generally can't sue vaccine makers or provide directly. Federal laws give them liability immunity. You can't seek compensation through federal program. Instead, lawsuits are possible in narrow cases like malpractice or willful conduct. So they saying, well, you can't, you know, hell, the FEMA give you money for a tornado. So in other words, if something happened to you, you might get some money off national disaster, but you're not going to link it to this because that can hurt. Let me see something. Let me see if I can find something for you right quick. Hold on.
Brother, disappointed. My name's Dr. Sean Brooks, PhD, Oxford. I have 48 publications, including 23 books. I've studied health, medicine, anatomy, and physiology for approximately 21 years. Dr. Robert Malone, who created the messenger RNA vaccine, has said no one should ever take these jabs ever, under any circumstance whatsoever. He created it, and he says don't ever do it. So let me explain what's going to happen to the people who have taken it. Excuse me. The people who have taken it are going to die in the next 6 months to 3 to 5 years for 3 reasons. Number one, you have dramatically decreased your own immune system by 35%. The first jab did it by at least 15. The second did it by 35 now. If you take any booster shot, you will die. That's it. You take a flu shot in the future, you will die. The second reason, antibody-dependent enhancement. Antibody-dependent enhancement is what is happening with these jabs with everybody who has taken them. Unless, of course, you've taken a placebo, but there's no way that you would know that. So given that fact, antibody-dependent enhancement tricks the entire body into believing that the cell that's eating the pathogen is eating it when it isn't. It ends up leading to what's called a cytokine storm, which causes organ failure. That will cause your death, and there's no stopping that. No amount of drugs will stop that. The third thing, blood clotting. Everyone who has taken the jabs is blood clotting. If you don't believe me, there's a way you can find out. Take what's called a D-dimer test. What that does is that detects blood clotting at the microscopic level. They're cutting full blood clots out of people right now. As I'm talking to you, millions have died from the jabs. In your last meeting, you advocated for people to take the jabs potentially in the future, along with wearing masks. And I heard parents say the same thing. So to the parents who are actually considering jabbing their own children, you're going to sterilize them permanently. People who have taken the jabs are sterilized. 80% of women who have been jabbed have lost their children in the first trimester. You can't have kids. You've also injected yourself with the equivalent of HIV. You can now no longer breastfeed, donate blood, donate organs, donate blood plasma, nor bone marrow. If you don't believe me, try to donate blood and blood plasma and find out what happens. You will be denied. Unless, of course, you live in California, in which case they're allowing people to donate toxic blood with spike proteins in it. The jabs create spike proteins. They're in the jabs themselves, and they create it by snapping your RNA in half. You are no longer a human anymore. You are something else, and you are susceptible to countless diseases. Now, here's what's going to happen in the future very quickly.
You have 15 seconds.
Great. I don't know what percentage of your staff has taken the jabs, but your school is going to close. You will not stay open. You will close because they will fall ill and they will die. That will happen in all of your buildings. It's already happening.
All right, thank you, sir.
I bet it is. It's already happening.
Sure.
Good luck,
Thank
because
you.
nothing can stop what's coming.
Thank you, sir.
So that actually aired. That I got in 2021. The movie I showed you suddenly died 2022. So what he's saying, he wasn't just talking. When he said the blood clogging and things like that, you're not even a human being. When I showed you the documents, what did I tell you? You're not even a human being. Remember, he said this before all this information came forth. He's been studying 21 years. Listen to the government, though. Show you a few more things and I got to close.
So you take the 14,000 deaths that are reported in the VAERS system, you multiply it by 100, you get 1.4 million. But the deaths that happened 5 months later, and that's the bulk of them, are not going to get reported in the VAERS system.
An elderly woman has died in what's believed to be South Australia's first case of fatal blood clotting caused by the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine.
Investigation is underway tonight over whether a local man suffered blood clots as a result of getting the Pfizer vaccine.
Two teachers who were at Soames Elementary School for more than 20 years and passed away suddenly this school year.
Therapeutic Goods Administration is calling for calm following the deaths of two people in our state who received the COVID vaccine.
Woodgrove High School student athlete Colette Bain passed away unexpectedly after a medical emergency.
A 20-year-old nursing student died of cardiac arrest one day after getting the mandatory.
The 16-year-old had a cardiac arrhythmia.
High school cheerleader who died suddenly.
Conclusions over the death of a woman from blood clots after receiving the
A
COVID
Queensland man is in
vaccine.
intensive care tonight, suffering a blood clot after receiving his AstraZeneca
Tonight
vaccine.
over
Over whether a local man suffered blood clots as a result
Due to
a blockage in an artery.
With medical experts confirming the death of a Central Coast woman is likely linked to the jab.
I said, we're just going to have to get used to this. And he says, the shots. And I said, yeah, we're just going to have to get used to this. This is the way it is. If people keep doing this, then this is going to keep happening.
So that's, you see how the man walked into the train? Who won't walk into a freight train? You can be controlled, mind. That's why I showed you the documents. I don't just run my mouth. I'm showing you video, documents, testimonies. It's up to you to whatever you want to believe. I can care less. I'm not saying I don't really care about you, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to be a fool, too short say, it's your life. Don't be stupid, though. Check this out. Part 2.
Way back in 1778, the Continental Congress unanimously passed America's first whistleblower law.
I did this clearly at my own jeopardy.
It recognized the duty to give the earliest information to Congress of any misconduct, frauds, or misdemeanors committed by anyone working for government.
The information I'm presenting is made as a protected communication under Title 10 U.S.C. 1034 as a whistleblower.
246 years later, whistleblowers have an incredible record of changing the course of history.
In late October of 2019, I was approached by leadership. There were 5 clients and there was a vendor in the room. The vendor was BioNTech. These are the notes that I took during the conversation of the meeting with the stakeholders for the contact tracing application. Took the fabric of my reality and just roughed it. I mean, it just made me question everything.
Government is going to grant themselves powers unilaterally to create greater control over American society and global society.
COVID is critical because this is what convinces people
to accept, to legitimize.
Upload complete.
Total biometric surveillance.
It's always the data. It's the crack cocaine of Silicon Valley. We are already living inside the architecture of totalitarianism.
We need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin.
I know my husband is not vaccinating people and putting a microchip in her arm because that technology doesn't even exist and he's never uttered the words out of his mouth, so.
Microchips and tracking devices are embedded in the vaccine. Is this accurate?
We have 6 MAC addresses that are pulsing Bluetooth signals, and all we are is surrounded by tombstones.
So can someone explain to me why we're getting EMF emissions off grave inside of a Faraday cage, please?
So we've seen the reports of individuals having unlicensed MAC addresses post-vaccination. I've seen evidence of that myself.
One of the requirements that it just changed the entire course of the conversation and frankly my life, that's when lipid nano came into the conversation.
These are not vaccines, these are not biological. As you go through the patent in section 219, it explains how they are self-assembled nanoparticles, and they're fully programmable.
From a technical perspective, if I can retrieve data, I can send data.
DARPA calls it transhumanism.
Can you hear what I just said and not want to just step away?
Blood samples aren't supposed to have blinking lights, but there they are. They're little dots. They move across the slide and they're blinking. This was brain tissue that had been sitting in a jar of formalin for 6 months.
Even if the body dies, they continue.
Yes, apparently.
All of your biometric data, your location, your privacy, it's gone. If you took the vaccine, you are the router. You are a communication device.
If you took the vaccine, you are the router. Remember what the paper said. And he's saying that these people from biotech government approached him. I don't know what type of work he do, but they approached him and try to do something with him. That's why he got the mask on. You are the router. You are the router. In other words, you're what, directs the signal, from I heard about 6G. It get deeper than this, man. Listen to me. This is what I want anybody. I usually do this on my gospel page. Today, I'm giving y'all this on this page. Okay. Look. Flat out. If you like this type of content, you want to follow this page right here. Ghetto Gospel. Follow this page right here. This is where all the content come in. When I do this type of work, you'll find it on this page. Ghetto Gospel. At Brother Cole. Got the book right here. This is why I do this type of work. I'm only doing it on this here because I got my following on here. This page been up. I've been paying more attention, pampering to this page more than my other page. When I do my other page, it's straight gospel. And usually people don't want to hear the word of God. But the word of God, politics is political and biblical. It's all connected. Even when you dealt with Paul, he dealt with government. When you dealt with the disciples, Peter and all them, they was dealing with government. Even Christ, he had to deal with Caesar and Joseph when he had to deal with the king and was thrown in jail. So it's always been some form of government. When Moses dealt with them, did not Moses deal with had to shut down Egypt? It's always been connected. Y'all think, well, that's politics, Bible. No, it's connected. That's how prophecies happen. But it's another story. Again, follow that page and, you'll start getting the real, information. This here, hey, Jay-Z did this, Glorilla sister this, okay. That's trash, man. It's something happening in the earth that you need to be aware of. One more thing before I close.
Right before things shut down, they did this in 2019. What was this? What were they doing? Same people. Event 201.
It began in healthy-looking pigs.
They always talk about pigs and bats. We don't buy it.
Months, perhaps
You shouldn't be
years
eating
ago,
it anyway.
a new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick.
This was the drill before they claimed something happened in Wuhan, folks. Right after this, into the next year, it was being reported of Wuhan. A full drill.
Infected people got a respiratory illness.
Be looking at double the number of cases in 1 week.
Affected countries can be critical.
All this is the drill.
The question is, can you, through this international mechanism, just have issued travel?
GNN. So this would be CNN scaring the people. The drill. See? And then, of course, they have to have a black person with a white, trusting doctor's coat on. He got to be in here somewhere. I bet you can find him. Usually there's a nurse, a black nurse or a black doctor telling us, yeah, we need to do what these demons are telling us to do. Oh, look at this. Thank you, but no thank you. All right? So in these drills and all over the place, they'll have somebody in a white jacket all over the place pressuring our people into doing this, right? Well, guess what? Guess what? Let's go back. Go back here. Hold on, where am I? Here it is. They had another demonstration and another exercise in 31 different countries, like it was with the event 201 before they declared pandemic. Strengthen intercooperability. And guess what they were able to do when they scared everyone? All the demo nuts had full control over our community. These power-hungry demo nuts was seizing the moment when all the earth in their community were at their behest. They were telling us, you can't go here, you can't do this, you better do this. If you go downtown, they're talking about, where's your mask? Because these are power-hungry demons. So now that they've lost control again, they was thinking, okay, what can we do? We need some melon ballots again. Y'all see where we're going at here? We need some melon ballots because ain't nobody going to vote for these demo nuts anymore. Right? And improve trust among agencies, critical elements for rapid and coordinated emergency response, additionally based on scores from the IHR States Party, right? So they got to do it again. Based on our experience with multiple health emergencies, coordinated with hospitals, clinics, doctors, and 9 times out of 10, the doctors in our neighborhoods aren't the people we grew up with. They came in from overseas. So watch out. They may be trying to roll this out again as a form of political control and to get as many people out of the way as possible. Another exercise, crystal exercise.
So apparently they have, which brought me to this, conclusion. This here Nipah virus is what's supposed to be on its way next. That's deadlier. I look it up. Look it up. The Nipah virus. Look it up. It's supposed to be on its way. It's more deadlier than COVID. I'm going to let this lady explain it to you. Then I'll close.
Hey, I'm Dr. Rhonda Johnson. It's Thursday, January 29th, 2026. You may be seeing headlines about the Nipah virus. So let's talk facts, not fear, not misinformation. What is it? First of all, it's a rare virus. It is not a new or unknown pathogen. It was first discovered in 1998 in Malaysia when an outbreak occurred in a pig farming village and killed 100 people. Now, there have been small outbreaks in 2001, 2017, 2018, and 2023. Now, it spreads mainly from animals to people, and fruit bats are the natural host. Sometimes pigs are involved. Now, people can get infection from food or drinks contaminated by bats, contact with infected animals, and close contact with an infected person. So what are the symptoms? Symptoms usually start 4 to 14 days after exposure, and early symptoms include fever, headache, vomiting, and cough, like a whole lot of other illnesses, right? But in severe cases, Nipah can cause brain swelling, seizures, coma, and death. So why are health organizations watching it closely? Because Nipah can be deadly, and past outbreaks show death rates between 40% and 75%, and there's no approved vaccine, and treatment is supportive care, although there's investigational research. Now, this is important. This is not a global pandemic. Current outbreaks are small and localized, and Nipah does not spread easily from person to person. So what about the current situation? Well, India has reported two cases in West Bengal. Health officials say the cases are contained. Now, some countries are increasing airport screening out of caution, but there is no evidence of widespread spread. So what can you do? Well, if you're traveling or live in these affected areas, wash your hands often, avoid ingestion of raw date palm sap, wash and peel fruit, avoid contact with sick animals and bats, and avoid close contact with people who are very ill, and healthcare workers have to take precautions. The bottom line is Nipah is serious, but this is an outbreak. It is not a global pandemic. Now you are informed. I do have an ask. Please help stop the rumors. Share this.
Well, if it is not a pandemic or outbreak, why is you telling us about it? There's a lot of things going on in the earth. If this wasn't that much of a big deal, why would you inform us? According to you, it's been 2 known outbreaks in India, Bagu somewhere. I don't believe it. It's more, and it's here already in the United States. We already heard about it being in, was it Utah? I spoke on this a month or 2 ago before, she even spoke, but it hit the U.S. already. I actually said it in one of my other videos. I had to go check my videos, but it's here already. It's gonna escalate. It's gonna be another pandemic. You know what I mean? Because they already got a name for it. The same people that's been meeting for the C-19 in 31 countries, it's the same people that's meeting right now. And the reason why they have to meet is because everybody have to get the memo to take it back to their prospective countries. And then, the world leaders give it to, I guess, the presidents. The presidents giving it to the government giving it to the mayor, and the mayor giving it to the people. And it had to be enforced. But everybody had to come to the round table and they have to talk about it, and it had to be executed. Anybody that don't go along with the program, then is strict penalties for that. Some people could be taken out. Some people can be, removed, or there'll be a lot of sanctions. Government funding, or and we know it's based on some things happening with Chicago when we were trying to get something from the government. Something we wasn't playing ball somehow, and we wasn't just getting what the funding that we need. So it's a lot of outlets to this. This bigger than Nino Brown. This is bigger than Nino Brown. I went a little past my time. You know, I'm 20 minutes in, you know, but I like to edify things, you know, when I'm doing these type of videos. I might have to edit it and upload it to other platforms because I got many platforms and a lot of people need to see this video. That's why I want to take my time. Follow that page. When you follow that page, you will get regular updates like this. Because again, when I tell you I have more information, way more information, it'll be on this page. Now, I do tell you that this page I do deal with the Bible. If you don't believe in God, if you don't want to hear about God or real teaching about the Bible, not just, you know, Matthew 5 and 9, give me that verse. And then we don't do that. I get you the nitty gritty, the business. So if you want to hear and get updates on stuff like this, you know, that's where you'll go. Now, as I say before, I ain't asked to sleep with your wife. I ain't asked you to, hey, let me hold 20 on the app. I ain't say, bro, you know what I'm saying? Let me sleep in your bed, you know what I'm saying? Let me, you know. No, my bill's paid for a few months. I don't need no room. I'm good. I just ask you to like and subscribe. You do that, my man, I think we'll be A-OK. Spread the message. I'm out.